Alright, working on the RX100 M5. This is the M5A. And I took the little flash cover off. And it's just a little aluminum thing. It's got one little screw right here. And that's on this side. And then the rest is stuck on with that stickum stuff. And it kind of goes around the edge here, real small. There's this piece right here. And a little bit right here. So when you're taking it off, when you first take the screw out, we did one little screw on the back, you'll notice it still won't come off, and you'll notice these little things off to the side here, and I was thinking they were crimped on. There's one there and one there, but they're not. That's just to set it in place. They go completely in there without being crimped onto anything. It's mostly just to stick them. And so I got this toothpick and I started opening it up, little gap there. Now you also use this thing. Just kind of pushed it in there. Don't want to push too hard because you don't want to bend this little thing up. And then once I got the toothpick in there, I just started feeling around to see where that stickum stuff was. Start pushing on a little bit. Now you don't want to go too far. You don't want to slam something all the way in here, because if you notice there's a cable right here. And you don't want to jam it on this side because this is a cable and that's a cable. So if you try to force it up this way, you might mess up this cable. So there's a cable here, cable there, and then this little cable inside here. So you really can't jam it too much this way because you'll start hitting that cable. You want to go a little bit, and you'll notice that it'll slowly start getting looser. And so the reason I took this off is I want to try to remove these little dings in it. There's like one, two, I don't think this one's going to come out, but there's 1, 2, 3. And the only way to really do that is to get from the back side and try to get something to massage them out from the back there. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And then I got some of that stickum stuff, and I had this from doing the LCDs, and it's real thin stuff. You got to get this super thin. And this is 3M 300 LSE, and this seemed to work pretty good. And I'd use it on the LCDs. The only thing, the problem with using it on the LCDs, the light will go through it, and some of the LCDs, like the original one, has a shield so the light can't go through, and so you might have to use a black marker. That's what I did, and that worked. So that's the stuff I'd use for the LCDs. Anyway, I'm going to use that on this because you're going to have something really thin. And then I'm going to push these little dings out, and then just to make this thing look a little better, because these dings on it don't look too, I don't know if this one's going to come out. It's pretty bad indentation there, but these are just little dings here. We're going to find out. Then I ordered off that site the new lens, but I didn't get it off this one site I was going to tell you about, emcore or something that does all the parts for Sony. And I went on that site, and they have all the parts for this camera and the other cameras. And I was thinking about getting that gear, the lens gear. And I was about to order two because they were only $8 for just that little gear. And this part right here, this thing was $36 for this little aluminum cover. And I was like, man, forget that. And the lens on their site, about $250, almost $300 with shipping and everything. But they have all these little parts for the camera. You can get all different little parts for it and everything. And so I was thinking about getting two of those little gears to fix that other lens that I have. But then I started inspecting it more, and the ring gear that's on the lens barrel that one rides on, that little gear, it's also messed up, and I'll show a picture here. So I'm glad I looked at that, because I'm thinking this lens is not going to be good either as far as that other ring gear. So I went ahead and ordered me a lens. I gotta wait for it to get here. So, I mean, because to take this camera apart and do all that work and then put a lens in there to try to fix the lens or something and then put it back together, and if it doesn't work, then you got to take it back apart again. That just ruins all those little cables. They can't, those little cables, those ribbon cables, they really can't handle all that taking apart, putting it back together, taking apart. You got really one shot, you know, maybe two. But the point is, those little cables don't like to be messed with too much. They just can't handle all that pulling apart, you know, stuff. So I'm gonna get a new lens for this and take this camera apart, put a new lens in it, and then I'm gonna also remove that little ding that was over here. And then as far as this thing, I'm not gonna pay $36 for this little cover. I'm just gonna try to push out these little dings to make it look somewhat better. I really don't think, let's see, which one was it? This one. I don't think this one's gonna come out. Let me see if I can get that better on camera. I don't think this one's gonna come out here because it's, I mean, these are just little dings here, but this one has more of a indentation to it. So we'll see, and then that just goes back right on there like that with those stickum stuff and one little screw there. And so that's what I'm working on now, and once I get that done, and of course, you know how to pop the flash up. Just pop the flash up, remove that little screw, and then just start loosening that stickum stuff. And then all I got to do is make a little cut of stickum, put in there. I'm just going to put a piece right here, really. Maybe make a little piece go around like that. That's how it was. It had a little bit around right here, and then one little, and then it would kind of go around this way, and then it would come up like that, and then it would continue on, and they had a little bit right here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put it back like it was, and then wait for that lens to come in. And once the lens comes in, I'll take this camera all apart and slap that brand new lens in it. But of course, that other lens, I was thinking it was good. I mean, it is good and everything as far as it being clean and everything, but that ring gear inside the lens is also damaged, as you see in that picture. So at that certain point on that ring gear, you can see that those gears, when they mesh, it just totally tears them up. They're just gone. So to replace that lens barrel, you would have to take the whole lens apart. And by the time you get that lens back together, you know, what's the point? You know, just go buy a whole new lens, you stick it in the camera and be done with it. So that's what I'm going to do to this one. And so what else? I guess I'm going to wrap this video up here. That's all I wanted to show you is if you're going to take your little aluminum cover off to try to fix some dings like this one has, you just remove this little screw on the back here and then get something and start pushing it this way. This little tab is, there's a tab here and a tab here, so you gotta kind of get in the front right here, right after that tab. Start working on it. Don't push too hard, and you'll see that it'll start loosening it up. But you don't want to bend this thing. And then I used a toothpick, and I just went in there real slow and felt around in there. Didn't want to hear any kind of, you know, cable hitting noise. And then I could feel that this would poke through really easy right here because the stickum was thinner, but right here was a little bit thicker because they got it built up like going this way. And so I just went like that, and it started coming loose. And so now I'm gonna use this stuff, cut a little piece, and stick that on there, and then get these dents somewhat out to make it look better, and then put that back on. And then we're gonna wait for the lens and put a new lens in this thing, and then take that dent out over there. And what else? That's about it for now. Alright, I guess I want to wrap this up here. I just wanted to add this video to my RX100 videos because I've never taken one of these little covers off, and I wanted to get this on video. If anybody else wanted to know how to take this cover off, and you know, you got to really be careful. You don't want to stab anything right here because these are cables here. This is a cable here, and you don't want to go too far this way inside here, because there's another cable right here that's soldered on that flash. So right here, you want to be careful and going too far. And the stickum stuff is mostly on the outside right here and right here. So just work it like that. All right, I guess I want to wrap this one up.